Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and I want to take you back to a time before school shootings were a big issue. When the type of mass events that you heard about often involved a workplace. There used to be a lot of jokes about post offices, for instance. And in the case we're about to talk about, that should be headlines everywhere, especially for the time period this was, the amount of money that was spent, and the correlation between big pharma, aka antidepressants, in this case Prozac, and mass shootings is stunning. It's something I've been talking about for quite some time. So we're going to go back to 1989 in Louisville, Kentucky. I hate giving any of these people notoriety, but I'm not sure notoriety was what this guy was after. After all, he killed himself after taking 8 lives and injuring 12 others at a printing facility. Now, here's the big secret. Many of the family members of the victims of this case were paid out to the tune, again, in the early 90s, of $20 million to ensure that there would be no verdict that could correlate antidepressants. And believe me, it's gone well beyond antidepressants that cause this type of behavior. And not only do they tell you on the fucking box, but they tell you in commercials. And that's why at the end of this, I'm going to play you just one of the line of Chantix commercials that are out there. Now, I've been talking about Chantix, I think, since its inception. It's been around for quite some time. And the fact that a drug that's supposed to get you off of a nicotine addiction could cause the side effects it says is alarming, to say the least. But we will get there, because this is a big story that no one is talking about. And by the way, even this write-up, look how short this is. You know, and it almost confuses the issue at the end, but we'll get there, okay? Prozac maker paid millions to secure favorable verdict in mass shooting lawsuit, victims say. The drug maker that produces Prozac, the antidepressant that Joseph Westbecker's victim blamed for his deadly shooting rampage 30 years ago at Standard Gravar, secretly paid the victims $20 million to help ensure a verdict exonerating the drug companies. Shocking. I'm shocked. Think about how far back this goes. All right? This is the late 80s when they're prescribing this drug. All right? And remember, when it's on a profit margin, when you can advertise it to people, there will be corruption. Indianapolis-based Eli Lilly vigorously shielded the payment for more than 2 decades, defying a Louisville judge who fought to reveal it because he said it swayed the jury's verdict. Westbecker began taking Prozac about a month before his murderous spree that killed 8 and wounded 12 in the print shop attached to the Courier-Journal. All but one of the victims sued Lilly, the company that manufactured the popular but controversial drug. On September 14th, 1989, Westbecker, a pressman, and this is, semi-automatic fire, started at 8:30 a.m. Over 30 minutes he took, like I said, 8 lives, injuring 12 others. It was the worst mass shooting in Kentucky, obviously. So in 94, a fiercely litigated 11-week trial took place in Louisville, in which Westbecker's victims and family said that Prozac he took helped incite his murderous rampage. On the eve of the jury's verdict, which absolved Lilly of liability, the company made the secret payment without telling the judge overseeing the case. And in exchange for the payment, the plaintiffs, 8 estates and 11 survivors, agreed to withhold damaging evidence about the arthritis drug Oriflex that Lilly withdrew from the market. So basically, they had evidence that this other drug that they were producing, let's go to that, Oriflex here, was also doing that. So in other words, they were covering up multiple instances of when this type of homicidal and suicidal rampage might take place. Let's see. I got a super chat here. Dominique Ote, thank you so much. Just for the hard and honest work you do. Thank you. Thank you. I very much appreciate that super chat right there. So we have this case with Joseph Thomas Becker. How many years ago now? 1989. 30 years ago they knew this shit was going on. 30 years ago they were rigging jury trials. And you know what they do with PR. Okay? Do you under public relations? That's another term for lying to you. Easing it in. Easing it right in. Oh, it's good for you. Oh. Now, I want to point this out also. I predicted when the Dayton shooting occurred, El Paso, I said, hey, there's some questions there. You can go watch my videos from it. But I said Dayton, especially, it looks like this is the real deal. You're going to find out this guy was on antidepressants and pilled up. People rolled their eyes at me, and you type in Connor Betts antidepressant. And the thing is that, yes, he was on antidepressants. They found that cocaine and alcohol in his system. They're hesitant, by the way, to release how many drugs he was actually on over the last few years and months and throughout his lifetime. Remember, this is a guy that made a rape and kill list that was expelled from school for a year. And then when he came back and they didn't tell the students, a third of those students left the school. All the warning signs. Had no business being next to a gun. Everybody knows it. That's where the system fails, and it fails that they keep giving him these drugs that make him even more psychotic and homicidal, right? But no one wants to talk about that. So think about that. Over a month ago, that was confirmed, and these are still the headlines when they came out. Dayton gunman had drugs and alcohol in his system. No talk in the headline about the antidepressants, that some of that drug was illegal. None. Zero. Zilch. Dayton shooting. Sealed records on gunman pits safety against privacy. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. All right, we should know exactly what type of drugs he was on. Now, I don't know if you've seen this series of ads, but it's one of those pet peeves of mine, one of the ads that I see all the time that I just can't believe that people would do this to themselves. And now, in New York, just like that, there's an executive order, and flavored vaping is gone, and it's no longer 18, it's 21. Now, the majority of these deaths, hospitalizations, injuries have nothing to do with nicotine whatsoever, because those that are actually addicted to nicotine don't get the fake stuff and keep doing the fake stuff. In fact, the majority of that fake oil that's out there is in relation to getting marijuana carts. It's real simple. Decriminalize it federally. Done. Why is it a stage 1 drug federally? That's nuts. That's the real issue. But they also see how much Juul and other companies have cut in because those people are vaping nicotine, right? So executive orders, not what the people want. They'll get rid of it. And then there's a side market we're not talking about. All right? Quitting cigarettes and things like Chantix behind me, well, guess what? They're making a lot of money too. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And this is a drug, again, that lets you quit smoking slow turkey. You can keep smoking at first, and then you'll wean off the cigarettes. And let's hope I don't get a copyright strike here, but let's hear what some of those lovely side effects are 29 seconds into the commercial.
Stop Chantix and get help right away if you have changes in behavior or thinking, aggression, hostility, depressed mood, suicidal thoughts, or actions.
Oh! Changes in behavior, thoughts and thinking, depressed moods, suicidal thoughts or actions.
Seizures, your worst murder blood vessel problem.
Seizures. But again, we can get into the physical stuff right here. What did they just tell you? Now, they never add in. Yeah, exactly. Hostility. They never add in that the suicidal thoughts and actions, a lot of these guys take people out first. So they're really homicidal, suicidal, those depression. It's the big secret because it's a billion-dollar industry. And I'm not saying that everybody that's on these drugs is going to do this. I'm not saying that in some cases these drugs can't help people. I'm saying when we have a society that's putting commercials like this on television, there's an outward profit motive. It will be abused over the top. These people are making billions of dollars, and they'll spend $20 million in 1989. Actually, this was 1994 from a 1989 incident in order to ensure that early on mass shootings are not associated with these type of psychotropic serotonin reuptake inhibitor drugs. Those are the facts. Goes well beyond the left-right spectrum. Why? Why? Because neither one of those parties wants to fucking talk about this or regulate it because they are owned on both sides by these very people. And with that being said, guys, I am a documentary filmmaker. You can go check out Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture right here on this very channel. Make sure to thumbs this video up, share it with others on all sorts of platforms. And if you're new to the Burmist Brigade, please subscribe. We're at the forefront of videos that matter on subjects that transcend this nonsensical Johnny bullshit left-right paradigm. And like I said, we're doing 3 to 7 of them a day. We're doing them on everything from Epstein to Nexium to MK Ultra to Big Pharma to Saudi Arabia to quantum computing and so much more. And if you like my stuff, everything, including my films, is on this channel for free. There is no Patreon. There is no Subscribe Star. There are no secret sources. I don't have bonus content. There won't be any nipple twisting on private live chats. But if you can handle $5, $10, $15 my way, I really appreciate it. It's what's keeping me going. And with that being said, I love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.